What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Speak On It. And we got a special show tonight. Coming on at an earlier time, especially with the finals coming on. So we're gonna probably get some live react to that as different things is going on. But we're gonna start off with last night. Haney and Kambosos. So, fellas, first of all, what did you think of the fight?
You want to go down?
Yeah. What's one?
I think it was one-sided. I think the jab really won the fight for Haney. Kept his distance. He boxed a smart fight, and I think if there's a rematch, it'll be more the same.
It gave me Floyd vibes, where like he just dominated with boxing. You know what I mean? Wasn't really nothing flashy. Wasn't nothing. I think he connected with like 50% of his punches or something like that. He connected at a high risk with his jab. Yeah, I'm with Saman. It was just pure boxing on Haney's side, and that's why he won, because he outboxed him.
And that being said, because it really was a one-sided fight. I thought the two scorecards, well, I think it was 116, 112. I think that was way closer than it should have been. But regardless, it was unanimous. So, with that being said, what is next for Kambosos? Like, because that wasn't. It wasn't, again, I don't think it was a close fight, and he looked out of his element. It didn't look like he was ready for that level of boxing. So what's the next for him? Where does he go from here?
To me, I think a rematch with Lopez. That'll probably be next. Just a rematch with Lopez.
I think he can. I think he has a rematch clause to fight Haney again. But if it pans out the same way, I mean you're gonna have to work your way back up. And I mean, if you want to fight T.O. again, I don't. He may have to wait a little bit and see what happens at the top, and then try to go at it again.
Which is why I will fight Lopez first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, I will fight Lopez. I mean, especially because you won that fight already, so I will fight Lopez first. Because I think to jump right back into Haney, like you said, there's nothing that I seen last night that tells me that
it's gonna be any different.
It's gonna be any different. Like unless he start connecting. And actually, I think he threw 60 power punches. I think he connected on 60 power punches, and it wasn't really like
power punch.
He didn't really face him.
It wasn't a point in that fight last night where it felt like Haney. Like even in some of Floyd fights, like Sugar Shane called him, he was like, "Oh," you know what I mean? Like even though he dominated that fight, there was moments in that fight where he caught. There was never a moment last night where Haney got caught, and I was like, "Oh, this might be the one." Like, but so my next question is, where does Lomo fit now in this hierarchy?
Third.
Yeah.
Third. Which is why I think them two need to fight and have that rematch. That rematch should be, because I know Kambosos. I know he has his rematch clause, and he's going to exercise it. They're going to fight first. You know what I mean? So I want to put that out there. He's going to fight. That's going to be the next fight. He's going to fight Haney. But I think what should happen, he should fight Lopez first, because even if he loses to Lopez, he still has that clause to where he can still fight Haney and get that rematch. Mm-hmm. So I would fight Lopez. Yeah, I mean, just to tune up, because again, just to jump right back into fighting Haney again, it's like, what's the point?
But what about Lomachenko? Where does I mean he's
where does he fall into all of this? Because it feels like the mega fight is Tank and Haney.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like that feels like the mega fight.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you. That is a mega fight. I don't know if Haney. I think you talked about him, but I don't know if Haney want that smoke right now. I just don't, because like you said, even last night, Kambosos connected with some power punches last night.
Absolutely,
they just didn't phase him. If Tank connect with his power punches, that's different.
I think Lomo should fight Kambosos. I think he should. I don't. Or he might actually have a shot with Devin Haney. They're both for top rank now. So
you said Lomo fight Haney?
Yeah. After he does what he does for his country.
I think it's just like a whole, because again, we're talking about Lopez, we're talking about Lomos. Like Lopez beat Lomos, right? And then like Kambosos beat Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's all a melting pot. So like for me, it would be, I think Lomo probably should fight. I can see him fighting Kambosos. I can see that. But then where does Lopez fall?
I think it's a lot that can happen. So I mean, out of all of this, it's like there shouldn't be any reason why we shouldn't have any good fights between, I would say, Haney, Shakur, Tank, Lomo. I wouldn't put Kambosos in there. Tio, Lomo, like these fights. There needs to be some sort of tournament.
So how you gonna put Lopez in there?
Because he beat Lomachenko, and if I'm putting Lomachenko in there,
he's a former undisputed world champion.
But you just say you ain't want to put Kambosos in there.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
But Kambosos beat Lopez.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not putting Kambosos in there.
I'm not saying that any of them are better. I'm just saying that like the domino effect, like one beat one, and then the other one beat the other one. Like it's all over the place.
Yeah, they all gotta.
I think they all need to seat at the table.
I do, except Tank. Like I think that's where you try to get to. Huh?
Oh, okay. So Tank only got one belt.
Yeah, I get it. But
Haney is undisputed at what is
but
it?
I'm not going to go. I'm like honestly, that's a monster, right? I'm not going to go put my belt on the line to go fight him. Like I'm just not. I would work my way up. Like to me, I know. Like Haney got the undisputed belt, right? But I'm not going to just go be like, okay, I'm just going to Tank's next up. I'm just not going to do it.
There needs to be some sort of tournament had, informal tournament. I mean, because at the end of the day, now we've done seen this undisputed title to switch hands.
Yeah, but I still say I don't. One thing I don't like about tournaments is you still don't get the matchups that you really want to see.
But I mean, informal tournaments, like, okay, so where does Tank go from here after he beats Broly? What's next for him? I mean, he can move up to 140, but there's a lot of money now that can be made with these lightweights as well. So there needs to be some sort of like, listen, at the end of the day, they're gonna end up meeting each other. in one of these divisions, whether it
They
be
should anyway.
135, 140, 147,
They should.
somehow, some way.
They should cross paths. Most definitely. So we can stay in
You just gotta
boxing.
be patient.
How excited were y'all to hear about the talks of Bud and Earl?
I'm ready. I'm just waiting for the man. Listen, I'm waiting for the green light on that one. That's
Same.
the one that I've been wanting for a while now. Especially since he moved up to 147. And like, yeah, yeah. I'm waiting for the confirmation of the date. Where is it at? What's happening?
I'm excited about it, but honestly,
You still don't think it's gonna happen?
no, I think it's gonna happen. But I think it's going to happen. I think it's gonna happen. But I'm not. There's a fight for me that I'm more excited about, and it's whoever Tank fights next out of the ones we just talked about. But I am
Wow.
excited about the Bud and the Spence fight. But I just think whoever Tank fights next is probably going to be the more exciting fight. I just think it's so much build up and there's so much hype around that fight that it might not live up to what we expect.
I don't know. I think this hype is real. Like this one's real, bro.
I feel you, Dom.
This one's real. This one's real.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you, Dom. Like I feel like it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be one of those fights where you're gonna have to see a second one because they're gonna. I'm not saying that either of them are gonna be necessarily timid or scared, but I think it's gonna be. It might be 5-6 rounds of filling each other out, and then we might get fireworks. And then we might get fireworks. You know what I mean on the back end. You know what I mean because it's gonna be a lot of mutual respect.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a lot of mutual respect in that ring, and you're not gonna see. I don't expect them to come out Hagler Hearns. You feel me? Just swinging. I don't expect that. You know what I mean? But I do expect them. I do expect them to give us a show. But I don't think it'll live up to the hype that everybody is giving it because it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard because everybody is saying like this is arguably 1 and 2 pound for pound in the world. It's arguably. So I don't know if it'll live up to that bill, but I don't think it'll disappoint at
I don't
all.
think it's a disappointment. But remember Lomachenko Lopez fight, right? Like he was pound for pound best in the world. Like we thought there was going to be fireworks in that fight, and
It was.
It
It
was.
just didn't
Yeah,
come. It just didn't come from. It just didn't come from the other. It just didn't come from the guy that we thought it was going to come from.
Oh.
Where this one, I guarantee somebody will come out a stupid favorite, and then Vegas will make sure that line gets much closer. I guarantee it. I doubted they come out a close line. I doubted it come out a close line. I got a feeling that somebody's gonna come out a dumb favorite, and depending on where they fight at, will determine which one of those two is gonna be the favorite. So, but I am looking forward to that. That's
I'm excited.
Fight party somewhere.
So
Yes.
real quick, let me ask you this question: bigger fight you want to see tomorrow, Charlo and Canelo, or Bud and
Spence? Are you serious?
Yeah.
I
I don't want to watch Canelo fight anymore. I told you. I don't think he wants to really fight anymore.
He's been calling for that fight for a minute. So
Who?
Charlo, you want Canelo to fight at Charlo?
Yeah. But this one is This one's one of those ones. This one is one of those ones, bro.
I got you. That thing gonna be
Okay,
thing gonna go down to
one of those
decision.
ones. Let's rank the anticipation. We weren't old enough for like any Ali fights. All right, so let's talk our lifetime. What is the anticipation in comparison to a mega fight that we from our lifetime?
So two perspectives, right?
Uh-huh.
You have the casual and then like the boxing nerds, I guess you would say, right?
Mhm.
And nerds is a good thing, but the casual fan would compared to this one would probably be more so of a Floyd Mayweather and Miguel Cotto.
To a
The
casual?
reason why I say that is because they both have a name, right? And I think that build up was the same kind of build up that it was in like the boxing media versus national media when it came to those two fighting. When they finally fought, it was like it was a little bit late, but at the same time, it was still some excitement. I don't think it's on the level of Mayweather Pacquiao because Mayweather Pacquiao was like two iconic guys. You know what I mean? To where they already had their legacy cemented in 2010, and then we finally get it years later to where one was like running Nike at one point and on all types of commercials and whatnot. The other one is like the super villain, got all this like it just that one had a build up that was years coming, whereas this one is more so. There's not like not saying that Errol Spence and Bud are like big figures, but at the same time we know who the face of boxing is, Canelo, and then next up would be Tank because he sells pay-per-views. So now we get into where Errol is coming into that status. You know what I mean? But Bud, he hasn't been getting too many views when it comes to his fights. But we all know that Bud is the truth. You know what I mean? So that's why I say Mayweather Cotto when it comes to the build up.
I thought you was gonna make Mayweather Pacquiao.
No, it's not on that level. Like, nah, like Mayweather Pacquiao is something that my wife would have, you know what I mean, been on the lookout for. Versus she knows these two, but it's not like I can't wait to see him. You know what I mean? So that's
Canelo
why I
triple
put it there.
Canelo Triple G. Um,
Hmm.
Wilder and the first fight. Wilder
Wilder and
and
Fury.
Fury. First fight.
Mm, nah, because I think a lot of casual fans thought that Wilder was going to knock Fury out.
I
And
agree, but it was
they didn't really know like the not we said it last week, the knockouts sell fights. So knockouts bring the casual fans to where these guys have had TKOs, stoppages and whatnot. So it's not like a lot of wow factor unless you really into boxing when it comes to these two.
but we talking about the
We've seen both of them beat people down. You know what I mean? But they don't have a 90% knockout ratio.
I know, but as far as anticipation, right? The build up,
Yeah.
like people wanted to see that Triple G and that Canelo fight. You know what I mean? My man was on a knockout tear, right? And well, both of them actually was on knockout tears.
Yeah.
So the anticipation for that fight was huge. And then when we talk about the Wilder, because he was knocking people out left and right, I'm just talking about as far as the anticipation. It's crazy that neither one of them, like you said, are knockout artists like that. But I think they carry that same anticipation, where these are two of the best in their spot, and we've been wanting it for a while.
I just say me personally, I've been wanting it for a while, but I don't know if the
I think the boxing world been wanting it for a while.
the boxing
Yes,
world
absolutely.
it's outside of that boxing world, is what I'm saying.
I got you.
I was just curious. Y'all two are more into boxing than I am as far as following, and I don't really follow it
So
as in depth
that's
as
a
you are.
perfect example then. So is this anticipation? Has this been big to you as far as Bud versus Spence?
For me, yes, it's been big because I felt as though prior to the accident, I
Mm-hmm.
felt like no disrespect to Canelo, but I felt like these were number one and number two pound for pound best in the world.
Okay.
Just again, and that's from me really not all the way diving into boxing
But you
like
see what you see.
I used to. But I know what I see. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I felt like before the accident, Earl and Bud toss up 1 and 2 for
And
best pound for pound.
I'll say this about the anticipation. I think Bud talking. I think he add to it.
Yeah, absolutely. He gonna add
Which
to
is
it.
why you want to actually see the fight.
Same thing, because and then Earl's kind of more of a laid back
Lay back,
character. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like kind of the polar opposites.
right? Which
You
is
know what I
why
mean?
I kind of think that it has the hype to be boom or bust. You know what I mean? Because you got one that's real laid back and you got one that's a talker.
Man, I think this one, the ones I
I think
really
it's what I think
this
it's
is
for me. And when we're talking about the ability, talking about the just strictly on the ability
mm-hmm.
time, I'm not saying that it's got the same hype or anything like that, but I feel like as a fan, I haven't felt like this since probably like De La Hoya Trinidad.
It's a good
Yeah,
one. That's a
yeah,
You
good
know
out
what I
one.
there.
mean? Where
That's
these
a
were two guys still in their prime. You know what I mean? It's a toss up. It could go either way. That fight, honestly, it didn't live up to the hype. I felt like De La Hoya dominated that fight, and then whatever happened with the judges happened with the judges. I'm not gonna get into it, um, but like from that's how it feels for me. Like these two guys still kind of fairly young,
mm-hmm.
entering the prime, still at the top of their game, still got a lot can shift in this fight. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even though Felix Trinidad won that fight, his career still was never really the same after the De
Right.
La Hoya fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where Oscar lost the fight and took off. So, but that's for me. That's where I was feeling it. Now again, with the Latino crowd, it will never be at that level. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in the ring, competition, age, everything. That's how I was viewing it. So, anything else, fellas? We can move on.
Keep the party going.
All right, let's move on. So, it was all over ESPN. Everybody was on it. Legacy is what we like to talk about, especially now the NBA Finals is going on. So the question was coming up: does Steph need a Finals MVP to solidify his legacy? So
Uh,
I'll let Dom go first. He's the resident Steph fan. So I'll let him go first.
solidify his legacy? No. Um, because I think regardless of what he does, he's automatically going to be a top 10, top 12 NBA player. And that's regardless of what he does. Now, if he wants to move up that ladder, I think if he gets a Finals MVP, I think he starts to knock people off. But as far as like solidifying his legacy, I don't think he needs a Finals MVP to solidify his legacy. One, we already know that Andre Iguodala should not have an MVP, Finals MVP. Defensive players don't get Finals MVPs. They just don't, right? Bruce Bowen should have had one then. Scottie Pippen should have one. Like, defensive players shouldn't get Finals MVPs. Steph averages like 27, 7, and like 6 in the finals. Like he doesn't need a Finals MVP to solidify his legacy. His legacy already solidified.
I would agree that he doesn't need a Finals MVP to solidify what he's. Wait a minute, what happened to my joint? Y'all hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we got you. We hear. Yeah.
I don't think it. I don't think it does anything to his legacy. I mean, he's going to be considered one of the best point guards that played in the game, regardless if he has one or not. Yeah, so I don't know about the Andre Iguodala thing. I mean, it is what it is. Oh man, look at Dom's face.
Come on, man.
Nah, but all jokes aside, though, I mean, I don't think that a Finals MVP validates him or doesn't validate him whatsoever. Pretty much what Dom said, it's like a cherry on top as far as getting one. If you get two, then now we can talk a little bit as to what exactly category we put them in as far as tiers of players.
I was torn, honestly, because I felt the same way you guys felt. But then I was like, the guys that he's going up against, even at his position, some of them are going to have that hardware, the Magics, the Zeeks. So I'm with you. If he wants to move up, according to certain people, he's probably going to need it. But he's the greatest shooter of all time. That doesn't have anything to do with a Finals MVP. I think he's probably the easiest superstar to play with. Has nothing to do with a Finals MVP. And I don't even think people understand that as part of his legacy, that he literally could play with anybody from any era because of his unselfishness, his ability to move without the basketball, his ability to handle the basketball as well. So, but to elevate his legacy, yes. But he is who he is already.
I'm going to give y'all two stats. The year Kevin Durant won it, my man averaged 29, 9, and 9. The year Kevin Durant won his championship, his Finals MVP. 2018, Steph Curry was doubled 40-plus times in that final. Kevin Durant was doubled 4. Like, the way he creates for other people, the way he makes the game easier for other people, like you said, like just the unselfishness.
Mm-hmm.
He can go out and he could have rejected Kevin Durant coming. He could have went out and tried to win MVP. Like, I just think winning should trump. And I know people gonna be like, well, when you start winning and you start comparing people, you're gonna start comparing awards and stuff like that. Because I mean, when you're great, you're great. I mean, you're going. It's like those little things matter. That's what separates you. But I think when you watch the game and you look at the game, I think you can see, to me, he makes others around him, almost everybody around him, better. It makes the game easier for almost everybody that's around him.
It's Dale's son.
I won't disagree. And just a quick update. Ugh, I got 22-15 Boston with a little over 3.5 left in the first quarter.
Mm.
Um, so I stayed there. Game one. What was you guys take away from game one? Because Steph I think he set a finals record for threes in the quarter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't watch the game. I was spending time with the wife, and but I was checking on my phone secretly. Um, she doesn't watch. She doesn't watch the show, so I can say all of this. Um, but they were rolling. They had their typical third quarter. It looked like the Warriors game one was going according to plan, and the Celtics said not so fast. Like Puerto Lee Corso, not so fast, and and they just couldn't miss. It felt like they couldn't miss they couldn't miss a three really all night, honestly, but in the fourth quarter particularly, like,
Yeah.
whew.
Yeah. Boston, everybody off that bench and Al Horford, they just got hot at the right time. They got hot in the fourth quarter. Derek White got hot. And honestly, for me personally, I think Steve Kerr got outcoached. I think he got outcoached in the quarter. Like for me, when Boston is switching everything and Kevon Looney's on the court, I know, you know what I mean, how he rebounds and everything like that. And he can switch, but when he's on the court, he's not an offensive threat. So if you put another shooter out there when Boston's switching everything, then it makes it a little bit easier.
Go ahead.
Again, I didn't watch the game, so I couldn't make that analysis. But doesn't that sound a lot like what Milwaukee did with Brook Lopez? Right? Like, get him off the floor. He's a liability. You got guys who are more athletic. Maybe they're not as big. Maybe they can't do all of the things that he can do. But for this particular matchup, a traditional center is not gonna get it done. Even against Robert Williams, it's not gonna get it done because everybody switches everything. Hey Cole.
I gotta say, hey, that queen in the back, that's my pregnant wife. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, she can do whatever she wants to do.
Don't mind her.
But yeah, that was the same. That was the same thing that I was arguing about with Booz and Brooke Lopez, man. Like he hurts you more than he helps you, even though he does bring something to the table.
Yeah,
So
it's like I said, this Boston series again, they switching everything, and again, it worked. It worked for the first three quarters because we was up 12. You know what I mean? And actually, I think if I'm being real, what I think kind of sparked that run was the foul at the end of quarter three, where we were up 14, and he went down, and they cut it to 12, and it was like, okay, Boston went into the fourth quarter with momentum. You know what I mean? So that's what I think kind of sparked it. But I think playing Kevon Looney and Draymond together, because they're both offensively challenged. I mean, it just is what it is. They both offensively challenged.
Offensively challenged.
Scoring wise, I think if you were to put another shooter with Steph, Draymond, and them, it would have opened up the floor a little bit more.
I mean, the game from quarters 1 through 3 was a roller coaster, in my opinion. It was just that the Warriors was getting the best of the runs that were going on, and they just happened to be up by 12 in the third quarter. And I think what happened in the fourth, which tell you a little story. So I'm sitting there watching the game. Third quarter, like you said, up by 12. I was like, oh, okay, this game might be like, because it just seemed like no matter what Boston did, like Golden State would just come back and it would be a stronger run. And it was like it just kept getting stretched out, and I was like, man, this might just continue. And I wanted to watch the game, but then commercials come on, and when commercials come on, I don't be watching the commercials. Man, if it's on TV, then I'm just either thinking of stuff I need to do or what, and then my eyes just close. And when they opened back up, the score was 120 to 108. And I had to go back and look at the final, look at the fourth quarter. 'Cause I was like, "Yo, what did I miss?" Because this is a 20-point swing, 24, whatever
Mhm.
point swing. Like, what in the world happened? And Al Horford, Al Horford, Al Horford, Al Horford. He
Couldn't miss.
came to play. I mean,
His first finals game, right?
Yep.
yeah. So
Took it over.
and
It's all of
y'all,
Boston first
the
finals
Warriors,
games.
the Warriors couldn't make shots. I mean, like, yo, 16 points in the fourth quarter. Steph had 20 plus in the first quarter by itself. You can't score 16 points in the finals in a quarter, especially the fourth quarter, and expect to win.
Okay, Dom, I gotta talk to you about this, man, because you the Steph fan. What do you say to people that says this is another moment where Steph didn't step up in a big moment in the finals?
So this is what I would say to people about him, right? You can't name me somebody, one of these small. I mean, he's 6'2". I mean, so you can't name me anybody in the history that's guarded like him. Nobody. The way they boxing, the way they guard Steph. You can't name me something. And he still finished with 34. You know what I mean? Like the way he's guarded in the finals, the way he's guarded in game,
He should have had more than that, though.
he should have. He should have.
Like, looking at the grand scheme, you scored. You said 34, right?
34.
And he had like 24 in the
21.
first quarter.
21 in the first
21.
quarter.
I'm sorry. Knocked the three down. 21 points. That means for the rest of the game, he was held to 13 points.
Mm-hmm. But listen. Basketball is a team sport, right? It's a
It
team
is.
sport.
But
So
one of the quotes that Shaq says is, if you're a great player, you score 8 points in a quarter, two layups, a jumper, and this dude can shoot from
if
90 feet away.
you divide, you divide four.
No, divide three.
I mean,
We had
no,
21 in the first.
no.
Divide
Yeah, 34.
13 into three is 4
Listen,
points.
he had 34. Where was Clay? Draymond
No,
was.
don't try to throw the bag. 4 points each quarter the rest of the way.
But if I'm being guarded, so listen, if I'm being guarded in a boxing one, if I'm doubling, if they're getting the balls out of my hand, if they're switching everything on me, let me just take bad shots.
Yeah, you'll make them.
Okay, I'm just saying.
You Steph Curry. No, that's
Okay,
no, that's a joke.
I
But
just think.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But to Biv's question, like, that question is gonna rise up because, like,
It's
yeah,
not good.
like, you come out the first quarter like that, it's like, yo, this dude might go get
40.
80 tonight.
He's supposed to go get 40, bro.
Yeah, like, yeah, 40
Minimum.
is the minimum.
40
Right?
minimum after a 20-point first quarter. Yeah,
I
40
thought it was going
minimum.
to be a special night, and then, like, he disappeared in the second quarter. I was like, yo, where is he at? I seen him on the bench, and I was like, okay.
He took
And
one
then,
shot. He took one shot.
yeah, but if you
That's
having a night like that, why are you only taking one shot?
because I'm being guarded in boxing one and switching everything.
Okay, well, then that goes back to Steve Curtin and coaching. How do you adjust?
you put more shooters on the court.
Yeah, he didn't do that in the fourth quarter. So,
and that's all I want to say. I don't want to let Steph off the hook because there were times where in the fourth I was like, and again, you're not gonna make all of them. You know what I mean? But I was like, dang, like you're supposed to be. To me, he's the ultimate run stopper. And he just when Boston was going on that run, he didn't hit one. So I'm not letting him off the hook. But I do believe he is guarded differently. He is guarded differently than almost any other superstar that we've ever seen, just because of the way he can shoot. Like most people will do a dunk. You know what I mean? Like Jordan would do a crazy dunk or a crazy layup. You know what I mean? That would cry the crowd. You know what I mean? Or whatever. But the way Steph breaks momentum, to me, it's backbreakers. Because that three, where you can stop a run.
I know we're not just putting Steph in Michael Jordan as far as stopping runs.
I think Steph stops runs way better than MJ.
Wow. No, don't say that. Don't say that publicly.
Okay.
We're not saying. Listen, nobody's saying he's a better player.
No. I know. We
know you didn't say that.
Right.
We know you didn't say that.
But the three,
even in this specific category, like,
but listen, what's the ultimate equalizer to a run stop? It's a three. It's a three.
It's a bucket. Period.
So, right, it's a bucket. But I would rather take a three over a two.
And Jordan take a three.
I'd rather just have the bucket.
The bucket, Jordan is.
I'd rather have a three over a two. Give me an extra point.
Listen,
bro. When you on that sideline and your team's struggling, I'll take somebody throwing the ball from the other end if it go in, bro. I don't care how it go in, bro. I want it to go in.
I'm with you.
I need a bucket.
We need a stat team to find out how many double-digit runs has been on Michael Jordan.
Bro,
I don't think it's been
forever. It'll take forever to find that out.
I don't think it's been
right? ESPN can find that out.
Crazy. You know what? Underdog on it right now.
It's 8. It's 8. Yo, I don't think Jordan had too many runs put on him.
I agree. Listen,
as a Bulls fan, I can tell you there were a lot of runs on us, buddy.
And I was gonna say, listen,
but who stopped them?
But I'm gonna take it a bit. I'm gonna take it another step further with that. Phil Jackson, and you as a Shaq fan, you should know this. Mm-hmm. Phil Jackson will make his team play through a run.
That's a fact.
It'll be 13, 17, 20. He like, and they looking at the sideline like, Coach, we need one. And he like, nah, figure it out. Figure it out. You know what I mean? So with that being said, sometimes it was Jordan like, all right, everybody get out the way. I'm getting ready to go ahead and do what I do. So he was forced a lot of times to have to do that. Okay, you know what I mean? Versus where Steph will blend in, and the opportunity presents itself, he'll do it. Jordan going to take that thing.
Yeah.
You feel me? And that's why I'll say that he was better than Steph, just because he's going to go and do it by himself, regardless of it. You know what I mean? Where Steph is just like, you know what I mean? We'll figure this out as a unit.
Within the offense.
We'll figure this out as a unit. Where Mike is just like, all right, enough's enough.
Get out the way.
Get out the way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm just saying run stopper. That was just
I'm getting
Steph is the best shooter of all time.
Oh, no, I don't. But, I still don't even. I don't think we'll ever see anybody as great as a shooter as Steph Curry. That's just me.
I agree.
It's going to take something miraculous to be a greater shooter than him. All right, but let's switch it up, fellas. Let's switch it up. Something near and dear to Tamon's heart. We're going to talk about a 49er for a second.
Hey. For a second? No.
Yeah. Go ahead. But with Frank Gore is going to sign a one-day contract, whatever, with the 49ers going to retire. Is he a Hall of Famer? Is Frank Gore a Hall of Famer? Tomorrow, we know you're going to say yes.
Oh, I got valid points. But go ahead. This is unbiased.
No homer points. This is all valid points.
Yeah. Give me your valid points, man. Let me.
The first one, he's third in rushing all time. 16,000 yards. And everyone in that top 10 is a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Except for Adrian Peterson, who we know is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Okay. You said points. That's plural. That was just one.
No, I mean that's a huge one right there. I was waiting for some comebacks. I gotta keep some in the holster today. I got.
So for me, what?
Go ahead, Dom. You don't think he's a Hall of Famer?
No, he's a Hall of Famer, and I'll take it one further. First ballot Hall of Famer.
It was funny to me that this was even a question. And I only raised it because people were raising it. I seen it on social media. I think people were debating it on TV. I'm like, really? This is a question? Like, dude, I think he had the most consecutive 1,200 yard seasons. like, sorry that he came to the 49ers when the management was trash. You know what I mean? That's just the truth. You know? But
and for everything that he had to battle coming out of college, to be third all time, leading rusher, like you said, he consistent. Like this is who I would compare him to, Curtis Martin, who was consistent, who's a Hall of Famer.
Yo,
not flashy, not this consistent.
No, you said coming out of college. Like, what did he go through coming out of college, other than playing in a crowded backfield?
He was behind some people.
Huh?
Oh, you said besides that.
Yeah,
he tore his ACL, didn't he? No.
No, that was Willis.
No, that was Willis McGahee.
Okay, thank you.
That was Willis. Frank was toting the rock. I think that helped with his longevity. It's weird that the rest of them couldn't keep up with the longevity. But I do believe that playing in the backfield in Miami and not having to take that wear and tear because he was sharing the ball with 18 other guys, it helped me. And it was a lot of them, man. Okay. You go back and you look, man, it was a lot of them. You talk about Clint, you talk about McGahee, you talk about Najee Harris. Like, it was, all of them was there at the same time, yo. I remember smacking Florida State around every year.
But here's the kicker, though, man. Like, it's not too many running back. Like, 30 is the year. It's like the cutoff when it comes to running backs. My man is playing until he's 37, bro. He was playing running back in the NFL in 2020 at the age of 37. And being productive. He had over 600 yards. So, like,
he ain't had not one bad season.
For real, that's what it seems like. Like, everything has been like, I did my job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who is 35 averaging 4.6 yards a carry? Like, who does?
I was getting ready to say he was still competing to be a bell cow. Like that's saying something, bro.
Yeah.
Like
in mid-30s.
That's impressive. Like, again, that's usually when, you know what I mean, they try to send the running backs out the pasture. At the 30, you know, they starting to write you off.
Listen, they trying to write Zeke off right now. My man, 25 years old.
You know what I mean? So, but I threw it out there because I seen it on a few places. I was like, really? People are questioning if Frank Gore is a Hall of Famer?
They don't watch football.
Like, man, this is ridiculous. You know, he was never one of those huge big name guys. I'm like you. That's why I did like the Curtis Martin reference. He was never a big huge name guy. Corey Dillon comes to mind, type of guy like that. Just come to work, do my job, go home. You know what I mean? Lunch pail guy. But I thought I'd throw it out there. So,
Hey, shout out to Frank Gore on his victory. Did you see? He won by a knockout. He's boxing. So
did not know that, but congratulations, Frank.
he fought. He said, "Did not know that."
Did not know that.
He actually did. I want to say like a celebrity one too, where he fought. Was it Darren Williams? He fought Darren Williams.
The basketball player?
Yes.
Who won that fight?
I think Frank Gore won.
Oh. Frank Gore won that fight.
And now he's like actually he's got a debut. That's what he had with it. Like he actually gonna try this thing out.
Hey.
It's something in them Gore jeans.
What can I say?
Florida water.
All right, so we're going to start previewing some divisions within the NFL, and we're going to start with the AFC South this week. All right, so first of all, AFC South, fellas, that's the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Tennessee Titans, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do you see winning this division? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't pick a team.
Today, June 5th. June 5th.
I couldn't pick a team. I was looking. I was like, oh. You said the Colts.
June 5th, 2022, going with the Colts.
Okay. Come on.
I concur.
You gonna go with the Colts?
Oh, I concur.
Y'all ain't no fun.
Listen, I almost picked the Texans. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Bruh.
No, I'm not gonna go there.
I ain't gonna go that far. I'm gonna go further. Don't do it. They're going worse the first week.
You're not
going worse the first week. I'm going that far. I'm going that far, man. Jacksonville great win this division, man.
You know too much about football to go that far.
What you mean? I know too much. I do know too much about football. That's why I feel like I felt like Urban Meyer wasn't the right guy. I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars are deprived of talent.
They definitely are deprived of talent.
I don't think they're deprived of talent by the least bit of the imagination. I think they're a much better team than their record showed last year. And I think the rest, I don't think Houston's going to be better than they were last year.
You don't think
I don't think Houston's going to be better.
I thought Houston's defense was solid.
Yeah, I think that Houston's defense was solid as well, but I don't think they're going to be better than they were last year. I don't think Tennessee's going to be as good as they were last year. I like the Colts. I do. I like the Colts. But I'm not really sold on them. I don't know. I don't know. Like, we were told that, Frank had his guy in Carson. And it didn't work. So now, how am I supposed to buy into whomever else they bring in? I got to see it. Sorry. And it's just like, okay, then Jacksonville's left. They're terrible too, but hey, at least they got some sort of continuity.
Jacksonville, if I am just putting talent on paper, just talent for talent, man, it's probably hard to find a better roster in that division. Maybe the Colts, but talent for talent, that Jacksonville roster is talented, man. But for me, go ahead. Nah.
I think the Colts have the equalizer in Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he's top 5, if not top 3, running backs in the league. And I mean, we can say what we want about Matt Ryan. Not saying that this is like a Matthew Stafford type situation, but Matt Ryan has been a above average quarterback since he's been in the league. I wouldn't put him elite,
Yeah,
but I
man.
think he's above average.
I'm with you.
And if that can translate, if we can do better than what Carson did last year, they do have a very above average defense. And I think the losing AJ Brown for the Titans knocks that off, and I think Jacksonville is probably a year or two away. So, and the Texans, they weren't even in the conversation.
Listen, they played hard last year. I'm gonna make a case for the Titans. One case.
I mean, well, all teams play hard.
Well, not all teams.
Yeah,
Not all teams. I'm gonna make one case for the Titans. What could swing me is I believe in Malik. if he can somehow win the job over Ryan Tannehill, I think he can have a Russell Wilson type rookie season.
That's saying a lot.
You think they have the defense to carry a rookie quarterback?
I think they have a lot of defensive pieces. Now, as far as do I think they're the least in the boom type?
No. I wouldn't. That's why I didn't say that.
But I do think they have a defense. I do think the Titans have a good defense, and I think they have, like Tamon said, the Colts have an equalizer. So the Titans.
Now, you made it interesting when you said Malik, because Malik adds a different dynamic to that running game when you combine him with Derek. So that could be interesting if that were to happen. Now, given the Ryan Tannehill comment earlier in the offseason, he better not lose that starting job, because that wasn't a good start. So, but he better not lose that starting job after making that type of comment.
I just got one question though. What do they got to lose if they start Malik? Nothing. But I know what I got in that guy.
They just gave him money though. They just gave Tannehill money, didn't they?
Before he threw them 3 picks.
But now you got a quarterback making over $20 million.
That's the NFL, bro.
Jimmy Garoppolo making over $20 million too.
Oh, why are we going there?
We're not previewing. We're not previewing it.
I'm sorry.
There should be no mention of any NFC East or West.
NFC West. I got you. Yes, Ryan Tannehill is making over $20 million. However, it's about wins, man, and what brings a better dynamic. Ryan Tannehill. What dynamic does Ryan Tannehill bring you?
He took him to the AFC Championship team, championship game. That's where he got his check from.
I understand that. But remember, we just had this conversation last week. We just had this conversation last week about GMs hanging on the hope and paying hope. You hoping that Ryan Tannehill is going to be more than what he is. He showed you. He's an AFC Championship game quarterback.
Well,
that's what he is.
They proved that they felt that way by drafting Malik.
But let me ask you this
I don't necessarily say they proved that by drafting Malik. I think they were at the point where if they didn't draft him, they were going to start to look bad.
Yeah.
Like at some point, people were getting ready to start looking bad. Like, come on, man. Like,
listen, how many times Joe Burrow gets sacked?
Too many.
He's still getting sacked right now by Tennessee. Like, they lost that game because Ryan Tannehill threw the picks. That's why they lost the game.
It was what was it, like 9, 10, something like that?
Listen,
It was
It
nice.
was a lot. It was a lot. But
listen.
I'm with you.
That
I would
defense
start.
did everything in their power to beat that team. Ryan Tannehill said, not again. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. I'm trying to go home.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be an interesting preseason there, because I think Malik is a competitor, and I think he's gonna push Ryan Tannehill. And I'm not saying that Ryan Tannehill isn't a competitor, but I'm not sure that since he's been in, at least with Tennessee, that he's ever had a backup that's gonna push him to this level.
Yeah. And
so I think it might bring out the best in Ryan. You never know.
It might. Listen, if we being real, right? Malik offers that offense two things that Ryan Tannehill just can't. He's a dynamic runner. He's also a dynamic passer. He has a bigger arm than Ryan Tannehill. He's faster than Ryan Tannehill. Only thing Ryan Tannehill has over him right now is experience.
Experience and size. That's it.
Yeah, and he's and I don't even know if Ryan Tannehill is deadly accurate, but experience and size.
I mean, he's accurate to the wrong team, as you said.
That's not a good quality.
He's 3 for 3.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, though, I think that he might be about 4 or 5 interceptions away from being a very good backup.
Okay, I'm pulling up.
And I'm not even just saying here. I'm just saying anywhere he goes, because this was the second shot, right? Because what happened in Miami happened in Miami, and but I think that his style of play was more suited for Tennessee than Mariota.
I agree.
So with the way that Vrabel thinks, like, does it benefit to have and I know this is going to sound crazy as I don't know what, to have a quarterback that dynamic? Like, do you think outside, like, because he just seems like a guy that he wants to hand the ball, like he wants to keep it 80s, 90s type football, to where you have a tough defense, you have a run game, and you have a guy who pretty much manages the game as a quarterback. And we can do that. I mean, let's be honest. Phil Simms, in my opinion, was a game manager, and he just managed the game of his life in the Super Bowl. That's what helped the Giants back then. But when you have somebody of Malik's caliber, like, now you're going to have to put his athleticism in the offense.
I don't think you necessarily have to do that. I think that's where that's where a lot of these quarterbacks get lost, because they can run. We feel like we need to have them run the football, where instead of let's just run the same offense that we run with everybody else, but now his ability to extend plays, ability to improvise, allow that to be displayed, versus let's design 10 to 12 plays where he runs the ball. I just think that puts yourself in a bad situation as an offense, because now you feel like I got to call these 12 plays for him running, versus let me just call this offense the way that the offense needs to be ran. And then when situations arise for him to improvise, we can improvise. That's why I think Randall Cunningham was successful. He was a dynamic quarterback, but with Chris Carter and Randy Moss and then Robert Smith in the backfield, we didn't need him. He didn't need to run the football for them to be successful. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like sometimes we get too creative with these new toys that we have, instead of just letting it be exactly what it is. It's a quarterback. Let it be a quarterback. Stop trying to make it a running back that's going to play quarterback. Let it be a quarterback and let it develop at being a quarterback. But don't put the strings on it and take away its ability to improvise and create when it needs to.
And yeah, like coming in right now, he probably has the top 5 arm in NFL, strength wise. So even if he doesn't run, that's just something Ryan Tannehill doesn't have. But I'm with Biv. Like we don't need to allow him to run. We don't need to design runs, but he will extend plays.
Mm-hmm.
But that just his arm talent, man. His arm talent, he can make every throw. It's just now just need to read defenses. But you said something when you first with your comment to mine is he wants to play 90s football. Well, he tried that. And he got beat by 2 dynamic quarterbacks. He got beat by 2 dynamic quarterbacks. He got beat by Pat Mahomes, and he got beat by Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't score enough.
Who, again, aren't dynamic in their ability to run the football, but they're dynamic in their ability to extend plays. Pat Mahomes extends plays. Majority of the time, he don't just drop back and just throw a bomb to Tyreek. Majority of the time, it's doing a scrambler drill. And I mean, people lose track of Tyreek, and he's behind you, and Pat got the arm to get there to fling that thing down there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like they handcuff these guys, and then at the same time, they want them to be a running back, basically. 'Cause that's what they do. That's basically what we do with Lamar. Like, we handcuff him and restrict him in the passing game. But when you run the football, you can go out there and do whatever you want to do with it. And we're going to call 10 to 15 design run plays for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder why he's banged up.
Oh, hopefully Tennessee doesn't restrict my man.
Nah, I mean, like, I was looking. I ain't saying that the receiving core is great, but I mean, you got Robert Woods. He's solid.
Trayvon Burke. You got
you got Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper.
Like, you can throw the football,
Mm-hmm.
especially with that running game. The play action will always be there with that guy in the back.
Yeah.
Regardless who's under center. So I think Tennessee will be just fine. But I do like them better with Malik under center than Ryan Tannehill. I'm just not a Ryan Tannehill fan.
Man.
You know.
When the game on the line, boy, you're gonna turn
it's
it
amazing. Amazing. It's amazing though, right? I'm going here, bunk it. It's amazing though, right? Like Ryan Tannehill can go from receiver to quarterback and get drafted. And then at the same time, they were getting black guys to go from quarterback to receiver at the same time, man. It's interesting to think about when I thought about it just now.
And my man got drafted high.
But it was interesting to think about. Like, that's what he did. He literally went from wide receiver to quarterback at Texas A&M, played 1 year, and was drafted.
Drafted top 10.
Interesting. But anyway, final thoughts, fellas. Final thoughts.
My final thought is behind every strong man is a strong black woman behind you. That's my final thought, man.
Literally, right?
Literally. That was awesome. That was perfect. I'm gonna try to do you one better. with every foundation is built brick by brick.
Man, now y'all done messed my final thought up, man. I had the whole final thought all planned out. You know what I mean? And then y'all done threw it off.
Nah, Dom had the perfect. He should have ended on that one.
But now, my final thought, man, is just memory, just the memory of Marion Barber, who passed away this week, man. And I just remembered him and Lawrence Maroney at Minnesota, absolutely destroying Michigan every year.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember Marion Barber at Minnesota. He was tough, man. Him and Lawrence Maroney ran for 1,000 yards in the same season, man. Like Marion Barber was tough, and I'm not gonna take no digs at no Cowboys or nothing like that, man. But just rest in peace, Marion Barber, and I mean prayers and thoughts with his family. Sorry. Again, I had my final thought all planned out. I didn't know the fellas was going there. But that's the show for this week. If you like what you've seen, man, hit the like button, subscribe. But until next time, same time next week, Sunday, we're gonna try to stay at 8, or y'all wanna go better than 9? Do y'all like 8 better?
Depending on what these finals is doing. That was the only reason why I was saying 8.
Well, according to Dom, it should be done this week, right?
Yeah. Listen, 4 straight.
So, but
I just knew that we couldn't compete with ABC.
Nah, not at all. But until next time, everybody, speak on it.
Peace.
Peace.